Mothers these days face challenges that previous generations didn't have to worry about. The internet, as we all know, has been a game changer in so many different aspects, and mothering is certainly one of those. The expectation is that because there is so much readily available information, that anything you need to know should be right at the tip of your fingertips. But in reality, being a parent is not that cut and dry. Being a parent is difficult because each person that's trying to be a parent is different and comes from different backgrounds. Each child they're parenting is different than the other children that they've parented, as well as your children are different than the mom who's trying to give you her very best advice. I see a lot of women putting pressure on themselves to be the perfect mom because there's so much at stake. We want the very best for our children and we want to give them everything we can and do it all just right. But in reality, it's not that simple, and there is no just right. Most people can look back on their childhood and think of things that maybe they wish their parents had done differently. And so as a parent, you can improve on those things and do them differently. But keep in mind, you're going to be making your own mistakes at the same time, and your children can improve upon them with their children. It's easy to fall into the trap that because other moms look like they have it all together and they act really confident, that they have the answers that you don't have. Much like adolescence, where we're trying to figure out who we are and what our place is in the world, it seemed like everyone around us knew exactly what they were doing and they were confident and had it all together. But as adults, we're able to look back and see that they probably were just as scared as we were, but we didn't see that because they didn't want us to. The same as the kids who are around you probably didn't see your insecurities either. By our very nature of being humans, we are flawed. We are looking for ways to interact in a world that is ever changing, and we're also looking to guide a whole new generation in a world that is ever changing. It's easy to get caught up in the mistakes that you feel like you're making. When you've lost your temper with your child and yelled at them, that might be the only thing you think about when you go to bed at night, instead of thinking all the other loving acts that you did towards your child, the way you soothed them when they were sad, the snack that was their favorite that you had for them after nap time or when they came home from school, all the other things that we do during the day. Many women tend to focus on just the things that they'd wish they had done better. So let's talk about why there are no perfect moms, but ways that you can try and be the very best mom that you can be. And along with that, you need to give yourself a little grace and latitude that you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. So let's look at 5 reasons why there are no perfect moms, but what you can do to be the best mom you're capable of. Number 1, being a mom is a hugely vulnerable time in any woman's life. We have expectations of what we want to do for our children, what their childhood should be like, the things that we should be able to do as parents. But some of us don't even have good role models of what a good parent looks like. Or we look back on the role model of our parents, but parenting in this generation, in this day and age with all the technology that we have available, both good and bad, is very different than what our own parents experienced. So many times parents are navigating a new path and finding a new way without the benefit of having their parents to understand what they're really going through, because society is very different now than when they raised their children. My clients often find it helpful to journal about their parenting. That's going to allow you to get some balance between those things that you're doing well, those things that you're doing great, and those things that you may want to improve upon. As long as the focus of journaling is both the good and the bad, so that you can get a broader perspective of how you're doing, it can be a handy tool for you to get a little objectivity about what's going on with you as a mom. Number 2, we are only human and we will make mistakes. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up at looking at other moms and looking for their mistakes as a way of reassuring ourselves. That's usually not done consciously, but at the same time, it does have a negative impact on those moms. There is so much social media today where you see moms behaving towards other moms very badly. It's really easy to sit behind a computer screen and criticize what a mother has done, from basically a video clip or a photograph that they've posted. But you have to imagine, would you say that same thing to her if you were face to face? Do you take a step back and think, wow, I've made some mistakes too, would I want someone judging me in this way? One of the things I would like to encourage moms to do is to be the ones who are the cheerleaders for other moms. Letting moms know when you see that they've done something really good. Momming is a really hard thing to do, and we need to band together and support each other. That's one way that I encourage my clients as well. Number 3, society tells us that moms should be able to do it all. In fact, there have been some successful executive women who've written books about how you can do it all. But I don't really believe that's possible. But because as women we have options, we sometimes feel defensive of our own choices because we see other women doing it differently. But we have to remember that people make choices based on different criteria. Some people choose to work full-time because they get a lot out of working and they want to try and balance being a parent as well as having a successful, fulfilling career. Other people find that it's helpful to have the balance of having some days off where they can be with their children, but also have those days where they're working and having that aspect of themselves as well. And still other moms will be stay-at-home moms because that's the right fit for them. And some of the times that decision comes down to something out of your control. Are you a single parent? Do you have a budget that requires you to work? All of those things have to be taken into consideration as well. So I try to encourage my clients to accept the differences that they find in other moms, and don't let somebody shame them into thinking they've made the wrong choice. They won't have any power over you with their words unless you give that to them. Number 4, being a mom is an incredibly vulnerable, emotional time in your life. We need to remember that other moms can relate to us on some of those emotional journeys that we're experiencing. Have you ever been on an airplane with the mom and the crying baby, and she's walking up and down the aisles trying to soothe her child and feeling mortified because she feels like she's disturbing everybody on the plane? If you've ever been that mom, you remember how awful that feels. While there will be some annoyed passengers, because there always are, maybe you can find a way of showing her some support. Offer to get a drink for her. Ask her if she needs you to hold the baby while she goes to the restroom. Just let her know that you can see that she's trying really hard. Being a mom is difficult. When we anticipate having a child, we have no idea the number of insecurities it's going to stir up in us. Number 5, we don't allow ourselves to take credit for the good things that we do or even feel good about those things. As women, we seem to be taught to downplay our strengths and even refute a compliment. Have you ever offered a compliment to another woman about the job she was doing as a parent, or maybe even her outfit, and she's turned around and told you all the reasons why your compliment was not valid? One of the things that I like to work on with my clients is a simple exercise. I challenge them that when somebody gives them a compliment, they look that person in the eye, they smile, and say thank you. It's amazing how that can turn the whole situation around. The person who's giving the compliment is going to feel really great that they complimented someone and it was well received. But the person receiving the compliment is going to find that they actually feel good about themselves. The simple act of smiling impacts your brain in a way that makes you feel good. And then also owning something that someone is complimenting you about makes you feel good as well. It also helps to jot down compliments that you receive periodically or tell someone else about it. When you're having one of those really rough days where you're doubting things about yourself and you're just not sure you're doing a good job, that's a good time to pull out that list and remember the things that other people noticed about you that they took the time to compliment you on. I love helping moms discover and build on their strengths so that they can be good moms, however that is defined, and spend more time enjoying the time with their children instead of struggling with doubt and regret. I would love to help you find your strengths and build on those in your role as a mom. Thanks.